Hello, guys. Am I audible to everybody? A quick audio check. Am I audible to everybody? Is my screen visible to everybody? Is my screen visible to everybody? Yeah. So, on that note, let's start with today. So, welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. So, before starting with coding and everything, we will be starting. Will be giving you a brief introduction about me myself. So before that, I just want to know the audience. I just want to know the audience. How many of you have prior experience in coding? I only have one rule in my class, guys. Everybody needs to be interactive. Everybody needs to be interactive. The more you interact, the more we communicate, the more better the session is, right? So keep interacting and trust me, we'll have a productive day today. Okay. So out of all 42 members yet joined, I want input from all of you. How many of you have experience in coding? I'm repeating my question. And how many of you do not have any experience in coding? Not at all. So we have Abhilash, Abhishek, Anand, Arpit, Aarti, Chetana, Gayatri, everybody. I just want a quick reply from all of you. Shan, Shashi, Shilpi, Praful, Samir, Meghna, Tanvi. By default, all of you are on mute. By default, all of you are on mute. In case if you guys want to speak something, just drop me a message over here and I'll unmute you at the point of time. So you're saying you have zero experience, no experience in coding, little bit. So someone says you have experience with coding in Java. Okay, no worries. So what is this code and for whom exactly this code is? My question is. Okay, Prithvi, I was thinking how to spell you up. So thank you for the suggestion. So I hope all of you are able to see the screen which says afraid of coding, yet want to be a programmer but no coding skills. Right. So how is it possible that we have no coding experience, yet we are saying ourselves that we are an automation tester and we automate stuff? How is it possible, right? So today we all gathered here. Today we all gathered here for automation testing with no coding experience required. The only one prerequisite for this course is you guys should have at least basic knowledge of English language. I repeat myself, you guys should have a basic knowledge of English language and nothing, and you're done. Trust me on that. That is the only one and only prerequisite that is required for this code. So without wasting a time, let me first of all introduce myself. So so that so yeah, my name is Ashish Garg, as you all guys would be able to see it on the screen. So in all, I have a total of about 7 years of experience, and I work as a QA automation tester. I repeat myself, I work as a QA automation tester. When I talk about my skills, I have worked on multiple platforms like Python, I've worked on Java, I've worked on Selenium, I've worked with API automation, also worked as a manual tester at a few point of time in my life. So that is not at all a bad stuff. That is actually a very, being a manual tester is something which is very much important to learn automation, right? Then I have worked with, I have multiple manual projects, I have multiple automation projects, I have worked on performance testing also. So few of them are few of, you can say, the tools are Jira, Agile, Zephyr, SOAP UI, TestNG, PyTest, JMeter, Load Runner, New Relic, etc., etc. You guys must be thinking, what garbage is all these things actually showing us? So do not worry, these things will be getting in your nerves with time to time. These are very much important terms when when you say yourself as an automation tester. So yeah, and in the end, I would like to say, in case you guys want to contact us or contact me, my Facebook handle is given, my Instagram handle is given. I do have my email ID and my phone number. So in case if anyone wants to note any few of information, yeah, good to go. I'm always available on WhatsApp, on my Instagram for sure, and yeah. So yeah, that is it. So now coming back to what is robot framework. Anyone who knows about robot framework, what is robot framework? I want an interactive session, guys. Come on. We have 62 students here, but none of you is replying. Be interactive, guys. Okay. So, what is robot framework? Any information, any prior information will work for me. Whatever you know about it. So, Prati, you want me to unmute you, right? So, just give me a second. So, yeah, Prati, now you can unmute yourself and you are good to speak, I believe.
Yes, Ashish.
Yes,
Ashish,
tell me.
as part of my experience, uh, actually I was getting trained into the robotic framework in my previous company. Robotic framework is like it will be like a whatever we have any ideas about the implementation level and everything we will do. It's like a user friendly framework as part of my experience.
Okay.
Like as part of my, especially it will be used for the Python programming with respect to PyTest or any other libraries, I think so.
Okay. Cool. Thank you, Prati. That was a
Mm,
help for us.
okay.
So now moving ahead, let me give you a brief information about it. Just a second. Yeah, I believe a whiteboard is visible to everybody. So we gathered here to discuss about something called, just a second. Mm, just give me a minute, guys. Hmm. So we all gathered here to discuss about something called robot framework. I believe my handwriting is not so good, but just try to cope with it. So when I'm saying robot framework, so the first question that comes in almost each one of us mind is that, guys, what are the other types of frameworks? And the very important question that, Ashish, what is a framework? That we are saying we are going to work on a robot framework. But what is a framework? Anyone? Anyone who want to tell me what is a framework before we go for what is a robot framework? Anyone who would like to tell me about it? Any suggestions? In case if you guys want to unmute you, just drop a message. I'll unmute you at that point of time. It's a set of guidelines to follow, Ramkrishnan. Okay. Anyone else? No worries. So when I'm saying a framework, that means you are setting up. That simply means that you are setting up a, a structure. That you are setting up a structure, or you can say you are setting up a blueprint. Blueprint. And what is the basic need? The basic need is called requirement. The basic need is called a requirement. That what exactly the requirement is. Right. My requirement, suppose my manager, I normally work as a manager, my requirement is now sometime that I have an Excel file. In this Excel file I have multiple rows, and in each of these rows what I want is I want from the my automation tester to write all the test case here, and once the test case is executed, mention them as pass or mention them as fail. And I also want one more important functionality, that boss, there should be a play button on the Excel sheet only, that the moment the user, the end client, hits on this play button, all my test case starts getting executed. And once my test cases are executed, my results are also uploaded on the sheet. Right. So yes, Om Prakash, the session is being recorded. So, Krishna, you're asking, is it like Constitution? Any code should be developed based on it? You can say the requirement of the client. It is dependent upon the requirement of the client. That what is the requirement of the client that we want to develop it. That is normally we say that is a framework that we normally say. Now, what happens sometimes? Few clients says that boss, I my requirement is I want a very techie sort of very techie sort of framework, that we have very techie guys working with us, and we want completely coding based framework. So for these types of guys, we normally suggest them that boss, okay, go for Java based frameworks. We can create a complete Java based framework for you, and over there you can work with us. Sometimes what happens, there are few clients who says that boss, we're not techie enough, but in terms of techie we also need easiness. That my guys should be easily able to understand what code you are writing and should be easily able to maintain it. So for these types of clients, we normally suggest Python based frameworks. That this Python is working as a language which is very much technical in terms, as well as which is very much easy to learn. So for these types of person, we normally suggest Python types of framework, that boss, you can write your own coding and then you can work accordingly. Now, what about those clients who says I have no knowledge, who says we have no knowledge of coding, yet we have no knowledge of coding, yet I want a framework which can be used by my guys. So in case if the technical person who is going to maintain it has no knowledge of coding, it is very much tough. It is very much tough for the users to for the developers actually to create something like that. So for these person, we normally suggest there is something called robot framework. Now you guys must be thinking that without coding, how is it possible that we can automate also and we can do multiple stuff? Yes, we can. Just wait, have patience, and I'll show you how do we normally do it. Okay. Now, a very much important thing, that when I'm saying RBT, I'm saying it in small, robot framework. This is normally famous. Why? Because it follows three major important criterias in life. What are these three major criteria? It is used to automate web applications. What are web applications, guys? What are web applications? If I normally ask any one of you, a web application is something like if you hit yatra.com, make my trip, there is ganajukebox.com, xyz, the multiple web applications, right? HTTP based, more often you can say, which normally runs on a browser, or on for to execute these applications we need a browser, right? Now web based applications also have two different units. One unit is called front end, and the second unit is called back end. Now what is this? Now what is front end? What is back end? So front end is something which we normally see. The complete website. The complete website is front end, whatever we see. And what is backend? The backend is the functionality which is used and in their back processes. Like, is the website written in Java? Is the website written in Python and XYZ? So for front end, we call it as, for whenever we deal with front end, we call it as UI automation. And whenever we work with backend, we call it as API automation. So Jaydev, your question is, robot framework uses only Python or other languages? Robot framework does not use any sort of language. It has its own keywords, you can say. So do not think that to work with robot framework you need any sort of language. You should be aware of Java or Python. No, not at all. You should only and only be concerned about robot framework. That is why we say zero coding experience. It has its completely different parameters, completely different, you can say, dictionary. It has a lake. It has of multiple things that you can do in it. Okay. Secondly, I was coming back. So I said we can automate web-based application. Then the next I'm saying that we can automate mobile-based application. Now what comes under mobile application? We have two parameters again. The first one is Android and the second one is iOS, right? We have Android and then we have iOS. So we can automate Android as well as iOS based application using robot framework. That is the second most important benefit of using a robot framework. And the third very much important part of robot framework is called that we can automate desktop applications also. That we can automate desktop applications also, which simply means any application which is available on your desktop, neither it is a mobile based application nor it is a web based application, but yet you are capable enough to automate it because you are using robot framework. So this is a very important benefit of a robot framework. Am I clear to everybody till here? A quick yes, guys. Am I clear to everybody? In case if you guys have any questions, please ask me right now. Otherwise, a quick yes. And try to be interactive, guys. Okay, a quick yes. I want every one of you to reply. Yes, go ahead with the question, Gopi Krishna. You can write your question over here, or should I unmute you? Whatever suits you. Others, whoever is okay, go ahead. Write a question, Gopi Krishna. I'll answer it accordingly. One more important benefit that robot framework supports. We normally say that robot framework is open source. You guys must have heard about this term earlier, that Ashish, what is open source, right? So Jaydev, your question, if no language and also can automate desktop application, then is it like record and replay? So now Jaydev, it has its own language. That is what I'm saying. It has its own keywords. It's completely based on one thing, which is English. That is the one thing that you require. To automate desktop based application, there is a tool called Sikuli that is used, and no other difference. So we have multiple keywords available in robot framework which are capable enough to automate everything. I'll show you in a minute. Okay, how to classify a desktop application, Gopi? So desktop application is something that we normally say it's a exe based application. Whichever is having an extension which is having an extension .exe, we normally say it as a desktop based application. Okay, now coming back, the question was that what is open source? What is open source? Open source simply means which is free to use, as well as which is freely available to you can say enhance. Now suppose I'm very much good with robot framework and I want to contribute in the robot framework community, then it is allowed that I can create my own plugins, I can create my own code, I can create my own keywords and multiple things in this language, and that can be used by multiple others. That is what open source is called. Second major important use, we normally say it, as I already mentioned, it is platform independent. This is platform independent, which means I can use robot framework code on Windows machine, I can use it on Mac machine, and I can also use it on Linux machine. Okay, that is what we call it as platform independent. So these are few very basic. You must be thinking that Ashi, this is completely theory, you are boring us and nothing else. So I'll coming back to the coding stuff, which is the most interesting part, and very much eagerness. You guys must be thinking that how should we do it, right? So Pratik, we have a question: is Python needed for robot framework? Why industry people say there are Python with robot framework? Yes, it's not important. It's not important that we need Python for sure, but yes, I'll in this course I will be teaching you 10% of Python also. I will be teaching you 10% of Python also, because sometimes what happens that you need to write very complicated code. You need to write very complicated code, and then this code needs to be connected with robot framework. So for dealing of these types of things, we use Python, but again, Python is very less used, which is only 10 and 10%. And I'll teach that stuff in this course for sure. So Arti, your question is, can we perform actions in database using it? Yes, for sure, you can do it. You're allowed to do that. So Anurag, hi, currently I'm working on a VR platform, so it's possible to automate via robot framework. VR, virtual environment, you are must be saying virtual reality types of stuff, Anurag, right? So since right as of now, robot framework is very much is having, you can say, multiple heights. So I have not explored that part of the virtual reality as of now, but I think that this should be definitely supported for that. There must be an application at the end running on your virtual reality. So I believe whenever there is an application, it's either a mobile or a desktop or a web-based application. So all these three are supported by robot framework. So I believe definitely the answer of your question is also yes. Okay. So Sanjay, your question is, what does this goes over? Only UI or UI and API? So we have UI plus API. We're going to code UI plus API both. So Pratik, you're saying, but you told no coding knowledge is required. I'm repeating myself again. No coding knowledge is required again, guys. It's just Python is just a helping hand and nothing else. Otherwise, robot framework is in itself completely capable of doing multiple things. Yes, Gaurav, you can say it's working as an RPA, robotic process automation for desktop application. So for Abratanu, sorry. So your question is, can Drupal CMS applications be automated? Yes, it can be. Shashi, can we automate API and UI both? Definitely. Narendra, your question is, can this automate desktop application hosted on Citrix server? Yeah, I need to check on it. And Manas, you're saying, do we get soft copy of material, and how do I transition from operations to RPA? So we as of now, soft copy is not available of, and notes are not available. Your recorded lectures for sure are available. You guys can see your recordings at any point of time, anywhere. Okay. So Himanshu, I'm not able to chat window. Himanshu, you have to write your queries over here only. Sanjay, your question is, how about the job opportunity for robot framework? I have 12 years of experience. So yes, in case if you search on Naukri.com or anywhere, multiple big MNCs use robot framework. So definitely there is a huge opportunity, because one person is capable enough for dealing three different jobs, right? The same person is automating the web-based application, the same person is automating the mobile application, plus the same person is automating the desktop application. So why will not the organization pay one person instead of paying three different, right? So Srihari, as we have PyTest framework already, what is the significance of robot framework in specific? Can we automate Chromium web application wrapped in desktop application? Yes, we can do that. And I'll come back to your question, Srihari, that what is the significance? There is a way much difference between PyTest and robot framework. Okay. So Shashi, is it in the demand market right now? Yes. Shreyesh, RBT uses Selenium, but Selenium can't automate desktop application, is it? So as I already mentioned, Shreyesh, RBT does not only use Selenium. It uses APM also. It uses APM also for mobile application. It uses Selenium also for web application, and it uses Sikuli for desktop applications. So it supports all three of them one by one. Okay. Shreyesh, you're asking, also to create our own keywords, we need a bit of Python. No, not at all. It's not important that you need a bit of Python. The same can be done with robot framework also. One small request, everybody, that I think I should go ahead with the lecture. All these questions will be addressed in the end of the session. I believe if everybody is okay with that, we come with the questions at the end of the lecture, everything about it. Yeah. So that we cannot miss the today's lecture, but I'll give separate time so that we can have discussion with the questions and everything. Okay. So okay, I'm coming back. So as I already mentioned, just a second, let me show you. Yeah, so this was the website, which is the robot framework official website. So over here also you can see robot framework is a generic open source automation framework. It can be used for test automation and robotic process automation, which is RPA, robotic process automation, which is used for desktop and everything. This is an open and extensible and can be integrated with virtually and other tools to create powerful and flexible automation. So I believe one of you asked me about virtual reality. So the answer is for sure that it can be done. It is an operating system independent. Yeah, we know that. So now, so we normally came with a basic idea that what is, what is all about it. We came with a basic idea, but now the question is, what all do we need? What all do we need? So when I'm saying what all do we need, no, Abhilash, I'm not going to train you on RPA. I'm going to train you on robotic process, robot automation for web and API. That's it. The RPA is not included in this course. So now the question is, what exactly is required? So the first requirement is we need an IDE. What is an IDE? If anyone is aware about it, heard about it earlier, what is an IDE, guys? What is an IDE? It stands for Integrated Development Environment. Now the question is, again, what is it? You have just told me the full form. Now what exactly is it, right? It is a place where we can, it is just a UI which is available for us where we can write our code. It is just a UI where we can write our code, and also this UI helps us giving different suggestions. Helps us giving different suggestions. It's a GUI. We normally say it as a GUI. Okay. So now which IDE are we going to use here? We are going to use IDE called PyCharm. We are going to use the IDE called PyCharm. So let me show you. Over here, if you just simply go and simply write PyCharm download. So it is hosted by the organization called JetBrains. So over here we have two versions available. The first version is called the professional version, and the second is the community version. Professional is costly. It's actually not free for use, but the community version is completely free as well as open source. So we are going to use this community version. So simply click on the download button, and you have to just simply save it up and somewhere in your system. So it's of 300 MB. It takes few minutes to get downloaded. I already have it. I'll share you the steps on the you can on email in case if anyone wants to, that how do we exactly do that. So if I open it up, let me show you PyCharm. So this is the complete UI of the integrated development. This is the UI of the integrated development, this which is called PyCharm. Over here we have option for new project. You can click on it, just simply type the project. Suppose I'm typing the project as RBT demo. Let's say this is which demo, 26 September, and just simply create it. So I already have one created, so I'm not repeating it again. One more important thing that we require, we also need to download Python. We also need to download Python. Why do we need to download Python? Since we are saying no coding experience is required, we need to download Python because PyCharm needs a environment. PyCharm needs a environment which is called virtual environment. Or to execute robot framework, we simply need something called virtual environment. Now the question is, what is a virtual environment? What is a virtual environment? Anyone? So a virtual environment, suppose now I'm giving you a query that what exactly the problem statement is, and then I'll tell you what exactly the solution is. Okay, so now the problem statement is that I have three different codes. I have three different projects. Now my project one is working on Selenium 1.0. My project 2 is working on Selenium 2.0. Project 3 is working on Selenium 3.0. Okay. Now I have three different projects in one machine. Keep in mind, guys, there is only one machine. at the end of the day. Now this one machine, 3 projects, this one machine can only have one type of selenium at a time. One type of selenium at one time. Now suppose when I want to when I'm executing project 1, project 2 and 3 are not executed, which is not allowed. When I'm executing project 2, because I have downloaded Selenium 2.0, 1 and 3 will fail for sure, right? When I'm executing project 3, project 1 and 2 will fail because Selenium 3 is used over here. I can have only one type of a Selenium at a time. Now, how should I resolve this problem? That all these 3 projects executes independently. All these 3 projects execute independently. How do I do that? Any suggestions? Any suggestions, anyone? So yes, we can do it. We can do it with something called virtual environment. Okay. Now, what is it exactly? What is it exactly? It simply says when you have project 1, which is using Selenium 1.0, what will I do? I'll simply wrap this 1.0 in one virtual environment. What does the word virtual means? It means a thing which is not real. Okay, so I'm saying whenever I'm using Selenium 1.0, I have created a different virtual environment for this specific project. When I'm using Selenium 2.0, it simply says, boss, I have created one different virtual environment for this project. Okay, now what is the use? The use is when I'm in this project and I'll try to execute, this project will now execute on the project level instead of executing on the machine level. What was earlier happening? Earlier the project was executing on the machine level, which because of that only one type of Selenium was allowed. But now this is not executing on the machine level, this is executing at the project level, where I have a completely different new virtual environment where I have installed Selenium 1.0. Similarly, when I come to the next project, which is this project, it also has its own sorry, it also has its own virtual environment. So now the dependency of dealing with only one type of data is completely resolved. Am I clear to everybody? What is the exact requirement of a virtual environment in the system? A quick yes or no from everybody I want. There are 86 students. A quick yes or no, guys. Come on. Show some enthusiasm and show some interaction, just to make the conversation better. Only 5 or 6 students are clear about it, right? What about others? So Gaurav, that is the magic of virtual environment. I'll show you in a minute. So Jaydev, your question is, in virtual environment portable? I mean, to ask code in one machine and move to another machine, others can run? Yes, definitely, it is completely portable, but we do not port it. There is a different way. There is a completely different way. So now suppose, let me show you the same in programmatic way. Over here in this project, you guys can see there is one VENV created. There is one VENV created, right? The virtual environment, you create it at your own using different commands. I'll explain the commands once you are in the course, and you can create it automatically once you are with in your PyCharm. Okay, so this virtual environment has a folder called scripts where everything you download is available. Everything you download is available. Now suppose if I'm downloading, let me show you. If I'm going to settings, over here, go to project interpreter, click on this plus icon, and if I simply download Selenium, if I search for Selenium and click on it, install. So if I simply download Selenium, it says package is installed successfully. Click on OK, and over here, if I show you in env scripts, you can see Selenium. Okay, in the library section, yeah, here this is the Selenium part is. So now there is one very good command. Just to answer your question, the command is pip. What is pip? Pip stands for package, Python package installer. Okay, whatever we install here is installed using pip. So I'm going to say pip freeze. Pip freeze. I'm saying just freeze everything, and if I hit enter, then it says, boss, you have two dependencies right now. The first dependency is you're using Selenium version 3.141.0, and you are using one more dependency, which is URL lib, which is of version 1.25.10. So there are two different versions available. So we have information like this. Now the question was, Jaydev, that can we port this virtual environment? So it's up to us. Either we can port it or we cannot. So if you port this complete virtual environment, your project gets heavy in terms of size. But what is the other way around? So the other way around says that I am writing this in a file called requirement.text. So the extension for requirement.text. So if I just refresh this, you can see there is a requirement.text file now. The same things are completely written here. I only need this file. I do not need the complete virtual environment now. I only need this requirement.txt and my work is done. How? Whenever I'm going to a new project, I'll simply write one command, pip install, that I'm saying I want to install what I want to install. I want to install this requirement.txt. I want to install this requirement.txt with a -r command. So the moment you write something like this and hit enter, so whatever is written here will be downloaded and installed in that specific project. So once everything is installed in that specific project, I believe there is no need to port the complete virtual environment. Is it clear to everybody that how the virtual environment works for us and why is it very much important? It has multiple uses. Is it clear to everybody? Jaydev, is the question answered? So do not worry about it. I'll explain you each and every step. I'll explain you each and every step that how can we do that. Do not worry on that note. So let me continue with the complete robot framework stuff. The installation parts and all these things are very much important, but I'll give you a different lecture window on that. For today, I'm working on the UI part, and tomorrow I'll give you a demo on the API part. Okay. So yeah, this is the file. So let's start working on it. So to start working on this, yeah. So to start working on this, we normally install one plugin. So if you go to settings, you go to plugin, there is a plugin called IntelliBot. There is a plugin called IntelliBot. If you simply search it, simply install it, and your job will be done. So you can go here, you can simply install it from a disk, or I'll give you the link from where you can download it. So to give you the link, I believe I have it over here. Just a second. Okay, I'll share the link on the email itself. Not worry. That's from where you can download this plugin. Okay. So now coming back. First of all, let me give you a brief introduction about what is pip. Otherwise, you guys will be confused about it. We have something called pip, which stands for Python package installer. Okay. Python is only and only needed for setup, guys, because robot framework is hand in hand with Python. We normally say robot framework is hand in hand with Python. So to work on robot framework, we normally need Python for sure, but coding in Python is not required. The way we need Java, to execute any web application, any Java based application, we need Java in our system, right? Similarly, to deal with robot framework, we need Python to work on it. Okay, clear to everybody? Now, when I'm saying pip simply stands for Python package installer. Whatever I write, if I write pip install, and the name of the package, then that specific package is installed in my virtual environment. Okay, clear to everybody? Now coming down over here, to start working on robot framework, we need to download robot framework. The first step is to download robot framework. So let me write the steps for you. The first and the most important thing is download PyCharm. Right, that is an IDE. The second important thing that we have here is download Python. The third important thing is that we need what? We need one plugin. We need a plugin. The plugin is IntelliBot. And once we have that plugin, the fourth important step is we need to download RBT. We need to download robot framework. I'm repeating myself, do not get confused in these initialization stuff. These stuffs are very much easy and only one time to be done. Okay, there is no again and again use of it, so only one time you have to pay attention on all these things. What is the use of IntelliBot? So yeah, very good question, Akshita. The use of the IntelliBot plugin is to support robot framework in PyCharm. Now the robot framework files in PyCharm, the robot framework file is with .robot extension. The way we have Java file with an extension called .java. For Python file, we have an extension called .py. For C++ file, we have an extension called CPP. Similarly, for robot framework based files, we have an extension called robot. And to make PyCharm use this robot framework, we need a plugin, which plugin is called IntelliBot. Abhishek, the question is how to set up a virtual environment. That should be a step. So the moment you download PyCharm, you configure the PyCharm with Python. Every time you create a new project, virtual environment is automatically created. Or other way around, we have steps to create. We have our own steps to create a virtual environment, but that is a completely different thing. I'm not going in that deep today. Okay, we can use Eclipse instead of PyCharm, right? Yes, you can use Eclipse, but to deal with Eclipse, there is something called RED. Whenever you are working with Eclipse to support robot framework, there is a plugin called RED which you need to download in Eclipse also. So Abhilash, the question is, sorry Ashish, one doubt, no problem, always welcome. Pip command will install the mentioned keyword. What exactly install means? Okay, nice, no problem. So see, if I'm working with Selenium, right? If you're working with Selenium, Abhilash, if you're working with Excel files, or if you're working with you can say any XYZ library. When I say library, now what does these things exactly means? When I'm saying Selenium, so Selenium is what? It is an open source tool, right? This open source tool simply means it is a set of multiple coding things written together, multiple functions, multiple plugins and XYZ. So this Selenium is nothing but this Selenium is a complete package which supports internally these tools and everything, right? So similarly, to deal with Excel files, we have a complete different package. To deal with any, suppose, calculator, to deal with a calculator also, we have a different package available out there in the market. So whenever I'm saying pip install, that simply means you are installing this package in your system, in your project, so that you can use these functions. You can use these already developed functions in your code. You can use these already developed functions in your code. That is why we write pip install and whatever you want to install. Suppose if I write Selenium, so all the functions and the code of the Selenium will come in my project, and I will be freely allowed to use it in my code. Okay, is it clear, Abhilash, now? So for that, these tools should be installed. Yes. So to deal with robot framework for UI automation, we need Selenium. So for to deal with Excel files, there is a different library. To deal with multiple libraries out there. So to deal with each and everything, we have a different library which we need to install. Okay. Yeah. So can we integrate robot framework with Git? Definitely. That is, yes, you can do that. Nope, not at all a problem. What is IntelliJ IDEA? It's again an IDE, Shashi, that is there in the market, which is similar to PyCharm. You can also use that. Can we integrate RPT with Git? And yes, we can do that. Okay, that is a part of the project course also, that we're going to integrate Git with all these things. So now coming back, over here I'm coming down in my project. So I'm telling you the steps. How do we download any library? Pay attention. We have a completely new project. So for those who have not downloaded Python, you can simply go out there and write download Python. If you hit enter, the very first official website, open it, and the latest version, which is Python 3.8.5, just hit on it, download it, and follow the installation steps. And that's it. Once you download Python, go back to your PyCharm and create one new project. Okay, I'm coming to that, Vinod. So now just simply go to file, go to settings. Shivendra, there are two things. Shivendra. You are saying RPA testing. RPA testing is desktop testing. So for dealing with desktop, we do not need Selenium. To deal with web-based application, we need Selenium. Okay. To deal with RPA automation, there is a tool called Sikuli. Okay. So project interpreter over there, just click on this plus icon. Here I'll search for robot framework. If I hit here, right here, sorry, the very first, I'll click on install package. Just wait for a minute. It says package is installed successfully. Click on OK. Now I'll simply create one file. Let me just create one file. Let me name it as test underscore 001 dot robot. Let's hit enter. Now you can see there is a robot available here. You can see there is a robot available here. So let me okay, going back, there is a robot available here. That is what exactly I wanted to tell you. That is why we say it's a completely robot based framework based stuff. So coming back to the question, Om, you're saying, are we going to discuss about Sikuli? No, Om, Sikuli is not a part of this course at all. What is the difference between RPA and robotic framework? So RPA, Shilpi, is used for, you can say it's a completely desktop automation tool, which is a category of robot framework. Robot framework has three categories: desktop, mobile, and web. So RPA is a category of robot framework, and robot framework is the superset of all these things. Okay. Nakshvi, you are asking, hello, do we need to give any path where Python is present after downloading it? So whenever you are installing Python, there is a checkbox which says that path should be automatically configured. If you hit and just simply check on that checkbox and your work is done. Okay. So let me show you also in case if you want me to. So if I download it, so it's just taking few seconds. So by the time it gets downloaded, I don't know why is my internet slow today. By the time it is downloading, let me explain you this. So I've created a very basic and a very empty file right now. Now over here in this empty file, there are 4 sections: variable, setting, test case, and keyword. Pay attention, everybody. There are 4 different options: variable, settings, test case, and keywords. So I will be explaining each one of them in a minute. So I'm writing them like this: variables. I'm just into adding these. There are 4 sections: setting, keyword, variable, test case. What is this setting? This is used for high level configuration. This is used for high level configuration. Now what does that mean? What does that mean? That we need high level configurations. Whenever you open a application, there is always a setting option, right? There is always a settings option where you can handle everything according to your requirement. So that this is that setting option where you are going to handle a complete test case as per your requirement. What is the next section? Keywords. Keywords is, this is used for creating bunch of code together. This is used for creating bunch of code together. It simply means that we can write 10 or 20 lines together and we can name that as A. Then I am again writing 10 or 20 lines which are performing some specific task. Then I'm naming them as B. I have one more 10 or 20 lines. I'm naming them as C, and so on. So these things will be done in the keywords section. I'll show you in a minute. Variable section. What is this? So I'll simply say this is used for variables. Now what are variables? Variable simply means I'm assigning a value to a alphabet or something. Suppose I'm saying boss A is equal to 10. So here A is a variable, and 10 is the value. So all these types of variables will be declared in this variable section, and for sure in the test case section I will be writing a test case. So let me write a one for you. So let me name it as first test case. Hit enter. Over here there is a keyword called log. There is a keyword called log. Now what is the use of this log keyword? This log keyword is used to print anything. This log keyword is used to print anything. Now suppose if I here print here, welcome to way to automation. And if I hit enter, yeah, that is it. Your first test case is done. A very basic test case. Now if I simply run it, how do I run it? There is a section called terminal over here in the end. Over here I'll click on this terminal. I'll simply write, I'll say I want to execute a robot test case. So I'll write robot and the name of the file. So I'm saying robot test 001. If I hit enter, you can see it says there was one critical test case, out of which one is passed and 0 failed. You can see the status is called passed. The test case is now passed. This is the name of your test case, which is first test case. This is the name of your file, which is test 001, So now if I go down, if you just refresh this, robot framework is very much known for its properties. Now another great benefit, it creates 3 files: log file, output file, report file. We have 3 different files. If I just open one, if I'll say open in browser, I want to open this in Chrome browser. This is my log file generated. Over here you can see it says the test case name was test 001. Where is this test case located? It is located at this location. It started at this point of time, ended at this point of time, and total took this point of time. the status is 1 was test case, out of which 0 failed and 1 passed. Now if I want to see step by step logging, I want to see step by step information. How can I do that? I simply click first. Over here you can see that I have written the keyword log. Welcome to Way2 Automation. If I go here and if I show you, I've written log. If I go back to my Windows, over here you can see there is log. If open it, it says welcome to Way2 Automation, which I have printed. So like this you can create Robot Framework automatically creates a complete log for us. Okay, things still here clear to everybody? Yes, Akshita, you need to just simply write robot and your work is done. Things still here clear to everybody? I'm quick check, guys. Things still here clear to everybody? There are 70 students out there. I want an input from all of you. I want an input from all of you guys. Just write one thing. No, Shashi, log is not a Python command. This is a robot framework command. I believe you guys have not done your dinner or breakfast, I believe. This is not a log, this is a print statement. Do not get confused with the logs in Java or Python. It's just a print statement, guys. Yeah, to execute it, Arpit, to execute it, you need to just simply write one command, which is robot, and your test case name. That's it. Okay. Samir, RIDE is not a framework. RIDE is a tool which is used for robot framework. Okay, so that is not at all so much different. It's just the syntax which differs. Okay, so for printing we used log command. For printing we use the log command. Yes, Jaydev, the recorded video definitely will be available to go step by step. And this in this demo session, I have not covered very step by step things. In future lectures, I will be showing you how do we download PyCharm, how do we configure it, how can I download Python, how do we configure it, and everything. Okay. So, Ashish, your question is: do we declare methods in this file? Over here, you can define them in the keyword section, Ashish. Yes, one important thing, Samir, everyone pay attention. You need to follow the indentation. Indentation is very, very important. Okay. I'm giving it. You yourself be seeing it over here. So now I'm coming to a complete test case. So let me just simply drag something. This is a manual test case if everybody is able to see this. How many of you have heard about manual test case? How many of you have heard about a manual test case? And how many of you have written a manual test case like this, which is displayed on your window? Pruthi, reports and logs are automatically created. You do not need to do anything for that. I believe most of us who are from a testing background have written manual test cases like this earlier and at some point of time in our lifetime, right? The first step in career, correct. The first step in an automation career, the first step is to create a manual test case like this. Now I am going to automate this manual test case into an automation test case in front of you using robot framework, and that will be a very easy task. Okay, sounds interesting, right? That how can we convert a manual test case to an automation test case in just a snap of a second? It will not take a lot of time. It will just take 5 to 10 minutes for you to convert this in an automation test case. Sounds interesting, right or not? You're right or no? Should we do it? Show some interest, guys. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let's start with the same. So the manual test case says that there is a precondition. There is a precondition. What is a precondition, Prateek? Jaydev, anyone? What is a precondition? Gopi, Sanjay, Tanvi, Lipti, anyone who tells me what is the precondition? Manas, Pruti, Om Prakash, Namrata. I'm asking about what do we mean when I'm saying precondition. A precondition means before executing your test case, these things should be already done. These things should be already done, right? That we have to be, these conditions should be already satisfied. That is what we say a precondition is all about, correct? So the precondition is that user is already landed on the official website of Amazon.in. So if I just open Amazon.in in front of you, let's just hit enter, and this is the official website of Amazon.in, right? So this is the URL. So this was the precondition. So let's see what next. It says the step number 1 says user clicks on the search box and types search in the search text. What is the expected result? User should be able to successfully type it. And what is the test data? I need to type Apple iPhone 11. So I'm going to copy this, go here. This is my text box, right? I'm going to paste it here. What is the next step? User clicks on the search button. User clicks on the search button and search results should be displayed to the user. Going back, hit search button, search results are displayed, correct? The search results are displayed. What is the next step? Verify the results on the search page. That verify the results for Apple, this string, this is available or not. So if I copy this and see, yes, this is available. This is, but I am verifying this manually. I need to verify the same automatically via code. And what is my post condition? Post condition is simply close the browser after verifying it. Is the scenario clear to everybody? Sorry. Is this scenario clear to everybody? Right? Scenario is clear to everybody, right? Now we are going to automate the scenario in front of us in just few lines of code, and that also in just English language. How am I going to do that? Going back to my PyCharm. So now we are going to download one library. What is the name of the library? The name of the library is Robot Framework / Selenium. /Selenium. This is the library. I'm going to install it. If I show you it over here also, this Robot Framework's official website. Over here, there is a section called libraries. Here you can see there is standard, external, other. So standard libraries are some libraries which are already inbuilt, which you do not need to install it again and again. That these libraries are already inbuilt whenever you download Robot Framework. Then we have an external section. Over here, we need to download all the available libraries. Suppose I want to work on Selenium, so I will be downloading the Selenium library. I want to work on SOAP, I will be downloading SOAP library. I want to work on Sikuli, I will be downloading the Sikuli library over here. Like that. I want to work on Zoomba, so I will be downloading my Zoomba library from here, and XYZ. Okay, so similarly, I have downloaded my Robot Framework Selenium library. Click on OK. Now we have a Selenium library. Now, what is one more prerequisite? Just simply go back to your test case and see what is the prerequisite. The prerequisite says user is already landed on the official website. User is already landed on the official website. What does that mean? Anyone? What does that mean? What is the basic thing I need to complete this step? What is the very basic thing that I need to complete this step? Anyone? Open browser. Again, the very much important thing, we need a browser, right? We need a browser. Before redirecting us to the URL, we need a browser, correct? Now, how do I'm going to get a browser? So to have a browser in Selenium, there is something called Selenium browser. If you open this website, the official website of Selenium, selenium.dev, this says that, boss, you have multiple browsers. What are these browsers? If you open this section, you have Internet Firefox, you have Internet Explorer, you have Safari, you have Opera, you have Chrome, you have Edge. You can execute your test case on any one of them. You can execute your test case on any one of them or each one of them. This is as per your requirement. So what exactly are we going to do it? These browsers are called drivers. These browsers are called drivers in the term of Selenium. These browsers are called drivers in terms of Selenium. So Jaydev, your question is automation from Java, Python always open up new browser in the session. And robot, will we use existing browser sessions most of the time? I kept many windows of browsers. Which one will be used now? So Jaydev, we are going to have a completely new browser in robot framework also. Okay. So how do we do that? I repeat myself. These browsers are called drivers. So we are going to download a driver. So I'm going to say download Chrome driver. So to work with a Chrome, I am saying download Chrome driver. If I open it, the very first line says if you are using Chrome version 86, verify which Chrome version are we using. Right click, help, about. So it says I'm using the version 85. So I'll go back to the official website. It says if you are using Chrome version 85, download this. Click on it. So if you are working on Linux, download the very first file. If you are working on Mac, download the second file. If you are working on Windows, download the third file. If I hit enter, save, it says okay, Chrome driver is getting downloaded. Click show in folder. This is the Chrome driver. I'll extract it. I'll simply extract it here. Over here you can see there is an application called Chrome driver.exe. For those who are new to it, do not worry. What is Chrome driver.exe? This is the browser. This is the browser that we are going to use in our test case. Okay. So I will be integrating this browser. I'll just copy this. Copy. Right click, copy. Going back to my PyCharm. Going back to the PyCharm. In this virtual environment, I am going to save this driver. Click open this virtual environment. There is a folder called script. Open it, right click, paste. So I'm pasting this here. So I've just pasted my Chrome driver. I'm repeating my steps. Copy this, copy, go to PyCharm. Over here, simply go in the scripts folder and paste it. Why was the step necessary? The step was only and only necessary because we need a browser to work on it. Is my screen visible to everybody? Yes? Ramkrishnan, just please reconnect one time, I believe. Now, let's start with the automation of our test case. So the automation of the test case was user is already landed on the official website. So the very first important thing is I want to open a browser and I want to go on the URL amazon.in. Right? So let's do the same. Over here, I'm using a library. So I'll go to the section. I'll say I'm using a library. Which library I'm using? I'm using Selenium library. So I've mentioned it here. That was I'm using a library in this code. Which library? I'm using the Selenium library in this code. Okay. Coming down, I'm saying I want to open the browser. So if I'll simply write open browser and my work is done. Now open browser, which link? So I'm going to copy this link, paste it here. So was it not copied? Control C, Control V. So yes, now it is pasted. So I'm saying open the browser at this link, give 2 spaces, and in which browser I want to open it, in the Chrome browser. Save. I'm repeating myself. One line of code, open the browser at this link in Chrome browser. Okay. Now coming down, that is the syntax, Himanshu, of robot framework. You always need to give 2 spaces. That is the syntax that robot framework follows, and that is a very important syntax. Okay. Now I am on my prerequisite number 1, that user is landed on the official website of Amazon.in. Let's try to execute first of all this. So save this. Let's save it. Going to terminal and execute it. So you can see over here. Okay. So it's opened up in a new window. Is it visible? Just a minute. Just give me a second. Actually, there are multiple screens here, so I need to verify the screen it is working on. So let me. Okay. I'm stopping the screen for a minute. Is my screen visible? Is it visible back, right? So now let me execute it over here one more time. It was not executed earlier. If I hit enter over here, you can see a new browser is opened automatically. We have not done nothing. It's done automatically, and it is landed on the Amazon.in. It is landed on Amazon.in. That is all what is required as a prerequisite. That is all what is required as a prerequisite, right? Right? That was a prerequisite, that user is already landed on the official website. So now, sorry, can we see the code written behind the scenes? Which code, Raghavendra? You are saying behind open browser keyword, this keyword. As of now, you cannot, but I believe there is a open documentation where you can. Okay. So now coming back, we have opened the browser. Now the next step is we need to maximize it. So to maximize it, I'll simply write maximize browser window, or we have maximize browser window. That is the only one command that is required to maximize it. Okay. In the terminal, I have written, let me copy this command to everyone so that all of you can see that. Send to all. So this is the command that I have written. Okay. So now coming back, maximize the window. Now what is the next step? Now what is the next step? User clicks on the search box and types in search text. User clicks on the search box and types in the search text. Just give me a second, guys. Okay. So now the second text was user is let me open this. User clicks on the search button, clicks on the types in search text. Now, what is the most important thing to deal with web-based application? What is the most important thing? The most important thing is, let me open Amazon.in. The most important thing is to locate this element. The most important thing is to find and locate this element. So there are completely different lectures on how do we locate an element and all these things. Ashish, I'll come to your questions in a minute. Inspect. How do we locate an element? We go to inspect. I'll go to this bar, and this bar says it has an ID. This bar says it has an ID, which is 2-tap search button. So for all those who are thinking what the hell is this, do not worry. This is called locating an element. This is called locating an element. I'll do that, but a bit later in the sessions. And once everybody is joined, I'll show you how do we locate an element using multiple types of locators. So right now I'm locating it using 2-tap search text. Copy this, go back to your code over here. Yeah, over here. Just think this software is very much disturbing. Hmm. Yeah. So now coming back, maximize browser window. Now I'll say, what is the task I need to do? I need to input some text, right? So I'll simply write input text. What I'm locating? I'm locating an ID over here, right? So I'll simply write I'm locating an ID, and the value of the ID is this. So I'm locating an ID, and the value of the ID is this. Give 2 spaces and let me write the data. So what is the data that I'm writing here? So yeah, the data that we are writing here is Apple iPhone 11. Copy this, go back to your code, paste it. We have input the text, right? We have inputted the text. What is the next task? What is the next task? If I go back to my test case, user clicks on the search button. Go here. Let's inspect the search button. This is the search button. So this search button is not having an ID. So this search button is having an XPath. Anyone who is aware about what is an XPath? Anyone who is aware about what is an XPath? Slash, I'm saying I want to go in the input tag. In this input tag, I want to locate the value. In this value, the value is go. So now my locator is done. Control A, Control C. I'll explain to all those who are unaware about these locators. Do not worry. Then I'm saying I want to click on a button, and this is the button. This is the button I want to click on. Okay, let's see whether it is working till here or not. So let me hit enter. Let's see. So it opens. It should maximize the window. It search for Apple iPhone 11, and my work is done. Right? Till here things are working correct. Now what is the next step? The next step is, so I need to verify whether this is available or not. Whether this is available or not. So how do I do that? How do I verify it? Normally, if I say in English, how do we write it? I would simply say that, boss, the page should contain. I'll simply say that, boss, the page should contain. What should the page contain? What should the page contain? The page should contain this data. Control it. Over here, coming back, paste. I'm simply saying that, boss, the page should contain this. And once the page contains this, once you verify whether it contains this, simply close the browser. Simply close the browser. Am I clear to everybody till here? Anyone? Any questions? Am I clear to everybody till here? All these 70 students out there, am I clear to everybody? Is it clear to everybody? How is it easy or not? Is it easy or not? Tell me. It's very easy, right? Just a matter with anyone without any coding experience, anyone can do automation. Nothing is there. There is not at all a problem with test data hidden. You can write n number of spaces in this test data, but whenever you're writing the keyword, you have to take care about it. Pratik, you want me to unmute you? Okay, just give me a minute. I need to search Pratik. Your full name is Pratik. Okay, Pratik, now you can unmute yourself and you are good to speak.
Yeah, so hi, just wanted to ask one question. Like for ID, you mentioned ID colon, then the ID value. For XPath, you directly wrote, you
You have
didn't
both
mention
options.
the XPath
You have
colon.
both. You have both options. You can do it like this also, and you can do it like this also. Robot framework is capable enough that once you do not give XPath, it automatically tells that this is an XPath. Otherwise, if you give, it is also accepting that. It's up to you.
So for it is only for XPath or for ID class everything?
No, only for XPath you have an option, but for all the other locators, you have to write it.
Okay, so here I saw like everything is predefined. So what is the use of Python? Like why we will use everything is already defined.
What is the use of Python? A very good question, Pratik. So Python is very much used when you're dealing with this section. When you're dealing with this section, the keyword section, when you deal with it, Python is required. So I'll show you one project. I'll show you one project where we
So
have dealt with Python
okay,
also.
okay. In this particular test case, can you make use of keyword and variable so that we can know like what is the use of both these sections?
Yeah, do not worry. There is a complete day available tomorrow. I'll explain. Definitely do that. Not at all a worry. I'll show you. Okay.
Okay. In this test case, we cannot use this keyword and variable section.
We can. It's up to us. We can have one Python based file and we can connect that Python file over here. I'll show you one completely available project. So what exactly
Okay.
we can do, right? We can create multiple different files where we have. I'll show you. Just wait for a minute, Pratik.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So we have so many questions available there. Jade, your question that add wait before closing browser to see browser results. So yeah, we can add a wait. So not at all a problem. Narendra, your question is, can we parameterize the data like iPhone 11, iPhone XS, where I need to repeat the same test case but different data? Is there any change in the keyword for the same? No, there is no change. That is called data-driven testing, Narendra. That is a part of this course that will be covered later in the session. And definitely you can execute same test case with different sets of data. That is data-driven testing. Okay. So now, let me execute this test case one time for everybody. So you can see the test case has been passed successfully. Now, if I simply open, the logs and all these things. So if I go and open the log, over here you can see first test case, each and everything is well defined. If I click here, it says opening the browser Chrome to base URL this. Then it says maximizing the window. Then I'm saying it says typing the text Apple iPhone 11 into the text field this. So Prakash, you're asking, can you make the same test case fail? Yes, I'll do that. So Hari, yes, we can use CSS also. It's up to us. There are multiple locators. Then we have, it says I'm clicking on this button. Then it says, okay, the current page contains this text, and in the end we are able to close it. Okay. So now to make this test case fail one time, let's say results for A, B, C, D, and X, Y, Z. So I'm going to fail this. Hit enter. Opens the browser, maximizes it, verifies. Now I believe the assertion would have failed. Going back to PyCharm, it simply says one test total, out of which one failed. So now if I simply open the report this time, right click, open in Chrome, So you can see the report is completely red. If you want to see the log is available. It says your test case failed at this point of time. Page should have contained text results for this, but did not. So we have the report, we have the logs and everything. Okay. So now let me show you one thing. I have also created one basic. I have created one basic framework for you guys to show you. So if I simply say, okay, this is one. Over here, I have created, you can see, let me close this stuff. Yeah. Over here, you can see, I have created a very complete structure. I'll come to your questions in a minute, guys. I'll come to your questions, okay? This is the complete structure available here, which says that, boss, you have a driver where I have Chrome driver and Gecko driver. Gecko driver is for my Firefox browser. I have a folder called resource where I'm using my Py files. This is my Python based files. I will explain the use of these files. Okay. Then I have a test case folder where I am going to use multiple test cases like registration form, drag and drop, and for loops, if loop, converting manual test cases to automation, and all these things. So in case if I just show you how does it executes. So to execute it, let me show you first of all executing it normally. So robot -d results tests. So now you can see the test case has started. Now there are multiple test cases out there. All these test cases will be executed one by one. So till that point of time, I'm coming to your questions. Shashi, the API part is to be scheduled tomorrow. I'll explain you the API things tomorrow. So Srihari, is this framework good to have for dealing dynamic web applications? Yes, definitely, Shri. It is very much comfortable in dealing with dynamic web applications. Om Prakash, can you show us the report? Can we get screenshots for each steps? Not for each step, but for the failing one, Om Prakash. The step which fails, you get a screenshot for that. Okay. Shali, your question is, API and UI integration is possible from this framework. That is getting value from API and validate the UI elements. Yes, you can do that, Shalu, not at all a problem. Arpit, hi, I will try to configure. I'm getting the error. I'll come to that. Sanjay, can we use robot framework for Angular applications? It's just about locating the element, Sanjay. You can locate, create an XPath. Does not matter whether the application is an Angular or a Java or a Python based application. So you can use that. Can we have that framework? Which framework, Himanshu? The one which is executing right now? So yes, I'll teach you this complete framework. Do not worry. Your question is, can we validate UI as well like size, color of elements? So verifying size and color of elements is not a part of automation testing. Automation testing is functional testing. Do not get confused. Automation testing is functional testing. So validating size and color and all these things is completely different. So Pratik, what command you used to execute the set of test cases? So the command I used was robot -d. -d stands for the directory where I want to save my results and the location where my test cases are. My test cases are in the test location. I want to save the results in this. So now if I show you the report or results. So this is my log report. You can see there are multiple test cases. If I open any one of them, So each and every test case has detailed explanations. Each and every test, if any test case fails, it takes the screenshot and shows us that what is the problem. Okay. So now coming back, in this course, I will also be taking care of multiple more things that robot framework is capable of. Suppose we can execute the pabot command, pabot hyphen hyphen processes. I'm saying to hyphen hyphen output dir, which is the results directory. I'll explain this, and I want to execute the tests. Okay, bad one. I need to copy this, going this, paste, results and tests. So it says process is not recognized as an internal command. Okay, I'll see what is the problem here. But we can, using the pabot command, we can execute a test case in parallel. We can execute a test cases in parallel, that one in Firefox and one in Mozilla, other one in Internet Edge, and so on. Okay. So now one more important thing that I have done, that we will be at the end of the day, we will be, let me change. I'll come to the question sessions in a minute. Over here, if I simply type Java hyphen jar Jenkins dot war hyphen hyphen HTTP port is equal to 8086. So this is Jenkins. I'll show what Jenkins is, how we are going to use it, why is it used, what is the exact use of Jenkins, and all these things. So it's getting started. I'll show you in a minute what it is capable of. It says it is completely up and running. Over here, if I okay, let me close this window. Over here, if to open Jenkins, let me simply write localhost. We're going to set up this complete thing in our own individual systems. So admin, sign in. So we are going to create some jobs like this. So I have created one job, which is robot framework demo. So this complete code that we have written over here, is on Git. Okay, this is on Git, and this Jenkins is getting this code from Git and executing it. Once it executes it, a alert report is generated. If you click here, this type of a report is generated for us. If you see test cases, all the things are available. That what is the test case, what is the history, how many times was it retried, and everything. So this is a complete end-to-end report that we are going to generate at the end of the day. So this is the main process. We're going to set up Jenkins and going to work on it accordingly. Okay. So now tell me if anyone is having any more questions. Let's start with the question scenario. Okay. Let's start with the, first of all, tell me, am I clear to everybody till here? Whatever we learned today, am I clear to everybody? A quick yes from everybody I want. Whatever we learned today, was it clear to everybody? If clear, then let's come down to the question and answer sessions. So you guys can start with your questions now. So Samir, a question, will you be covering pipeline also for Jenkins? That is a very small topic, Samir, but in this course it is not there. In this course it is not there, but I'll see if I'll cover it up. Shivendra, your thing looks like Selenium exposure required. Not at all. I will be teaching the Selenium stuff completely from basic to advanced, so do not worry on that case. Yes, where can we use Python code? So Pruthi, I'll show you the Python code also. That is very less used, not all used greatly. That is majorly used for the complete setup and all these things. Kirti, when actual session will start, then you start from first. Yes, I will be starting it from the very basic, Kirti. The session will be starting from 3rd of October. Selenium libraries, Pruthi. I'm not getting your question, Pruthi. Can we use auto IT with robot? Yes, we can do that. Where can we set up the SVN update and build, etc. on the GitHub repository, Shashi? I'm in manual testing. Can I move into robot framework automation? Definitely. That is the use of it now. All the person who are without having any no experience with coding. So Himanshu, I believe in this session only, I don't think in this code that I have written at the back end, there was any code required. That was just in just English language that was done, right? Satish, are you going to cover Jenkins? Should not today, but at the end of the session, Satish. End of my course. So Akshita, you are asking for executing multiple test cases. We just need to write that robot-d command. Right. Yes, Akshita, definitely. One command and your work is done. Namrata, I don't have any experience in coding, but I think session is useful. Thank you a lot, Namrata. But definitely, guys, in this pandemic of coronavirus, I believe upgrading yourself to a skill does not makes any problem for us, right? So I believe this is a very basic and a very easy to learn session and an easy to learn skill. So Hiren, is there scope to write JavaScript like we can use Selenium with Java? So no, Selenium with Java is not required here, but definitely you can write the JavaScript code here, Hiren. Okay. The course will available after complete this course. Yes, the recorded lectures will definitely be available on the portal, so you can anytime go through the recorded lectures. Akshata, will we use some API stuff from with robot framework? Yes, tomorrow we are going to create the robot framework API. So I will be dealing with the in the tomorrow's demo. We are going to work on the API stuff. Okay. Will those cover creating our own keywords? Yes, definitely. So if I show you here, let me open up a file. So here you can see we have created our own keywords. We have created our own keywords here like this. So yeah, definitely we're going to create our own keywords, not at all a problem. What's the course duration and fees? The course duration will be approximately 10 to 15 classes, Jaydev. And regarding the fees, you can contact Rahul. He will update you. You'll get an email for the same. So Akshita, okay, Sanjay. Narendra, your question is, can I switch between different platforms like web application to desktop app or mobile application where we have multiple systems are integrated? Like this, you cannot, but using robot framework, you can create different applications. You can create different code, but in between, I don't think so. There is an option to switch from web-based application to a mobile application or to a desktop application. Directly, you cannot, but you can write different frameworks and you can write different code for each one of them. Shilpi, you're asking what would be the percentage hike to my current package considering robot market as a future? So for all these, all of you who are concerned about jobs, I'm just asking you one basic question. A person who is good in automation, web application automation, a person who is good in mobile application automation, a person who is good in API automation of application, a person who is good in desktop application automation. 4 different persons job, if only one person can do, I think there will be definitely a hike for the same person, right? That the job of 4 different persons will be done with from a single person. So definitely there will be a percentage hike whenever you're going to show robot framework as a future for all these 4 platforms. Okay. Robot framework is keyword driven. Same. Yes. Yes, Satish, it is keyword driven. Can we use BDD here? Yes, Gaurav. BDD is just a layer up. So you can use BDD here for without any problem. Today, tomorrow recorded session links. You will be getting that on email. Do not worry. Which framework will we be developing? We will be developing keyword driven framework, data driven framework, and BDD framework, page object model, all these things we are going to cover here. Is there jobs in the market currently just robot framework plus Python? Yes, Himanshu, there are jobs. If you go on the Naukri portal, you can see there, of course. Manas, do we get tips to prepare CV? So at the end or in between, I normally have interview sessions. I have only in specific interview sessions where we only deal with interview questions. So definitely interview guidance will be given, and I help you creating your own CVs also. Will you help us to get the new job, like providing opportunity and all? Yes, Rahul gets opportunity multiple times from multiple organizations he is in contact with. So you can contact Rahul for the same. He will be good person to answer this question. Tanvi, benefits of robot framework over Selenium. The very first and basic benefit. So see, your question should be benefits of robot framework over Selenium with Java and Selenium with Python. So the robot framework is in itself capable to deal with multiple types of applications. The very basic. Second, it is capable enough that any non-coder person can also automate stuff. So these are very, very two important basic benefits of robot framework over Selenium, which are very much important. What will you cover in this course? So I believe I have shared an email to all of you regarding the course content. You can see that. Test data driven, yes. What will be the timings of the classes? The timings of the classes will be from 10 a.m. in the morning. The timings for the classes will be from 10 a.m. in the morning, 10 to 11:30. So Gaurav, myself, Ashish Garg, I have 7 years of experience as an automation tester, working in a same level 5 organization, MNC, and I worked on performance testing, automation testing, and manual testing, all three platforms individually. And as of now, I have worked in a good organization. So yeah, that is enough, I believe. Will there be other course for desktop based or APM? Yes, we have an APM course starting soon. We are not having a course on the desktop as of now. Selenium with Python and robotic framework, are they both same? No, both are different, Shilpi. Selenium with Python is a completely different course and different thing where we have no use of robot framework, and robot framework is a completely different stuff where we have no use of Selenium with Python. Will this be the weekend class? Yes, definitely. This will be only and only a weekend class. Sashi, I'm unable to open course details from the link you have provided in the email. I'll shoot another email. I'll ask him to shoot another email. Will you cover mobile application development? No, Tanvi, only API and UI application will be covered. For a mobile application, we are going to start a new batch from the next weekend. Om Prakash, in APM course, it will be like RBT with APM, right? No, in this APM, we are starting with Python with APM, not RBT, but Python. So Shri, your question is, do you have Python Selenium classes happening or about to start now? So Shri, Python Selenium batch is going to end in the next 2 or 3 classes. And after that, we will be starting a new batch. Yes, Shilpi, you can verify the database testing for sure. API means defining your own functions, right? I'll explain that tomorrow, Gaurav. Be available. So Manas, the plan was to schedule it from 6:30 to 8, but almost 80% of students said that they want the timings from morning 10 a.m. to 11:30. So that is the only reason we have scheduled it in the morning. Okay. Else we will make sure whatever will once everybody enrolls in the course, we'll have a vote out. Whoever votes for the best timings, that will be the one that will be used. Yeah. So anyone having any more questions for today? So Tanvi, mobile app automation will be include only mobile and no API and UI. Nothing, Tanvi. It will only include mobile application. The course fees, you will get an email from Rahul for the course fees. Do not worry. Tomorrow the demo will be at the same time, 6:30 to 8. In case if you miss any class, Shilpi, you will be getting a recorded lecture, and you have my phone number and email ID. You can directly contact me at any point of time for any queries. I'm available to answer. Okay. Any feedbacks, guys? Any feedbacks for today? How was the session? Any feedbacks that I should take care for tomorrow's session? I actually like to take feedbacks from all of my students. So any feedbacks that you guys want to share? I would be happy to hear it. Great session. Session is good. Session was good. And you guys enjoyed or not? I want a very basic answer. You guys enjoyed? It was an interactive one. You guys enjoyed? Yeah. That is the most important thing, guys. I'm in the industry from past 7 years. I have a passion to teach. So that is the only reason I want an interactive audience and everything. So just feel free to ask any questions to me at any point of time. I'm giving my phone number. It's 7011197716. In case if you guys are joining from outside, please add +91. Okay. Gaurav, I have a YouTube channel, so that has not to be discussed here. So I'm here at from Way to Automation's website. So yeah, I'll share the YouTube channel later. Okay. My name is Ashish. For everyone who missed, my name is Ashish Garg. Okay. So okay then, guys. That is all for today's session. I believe it was interactive. It was good. It was cool. Yeah. So we'll be meeting tomorrow at same time, 6:30 to 8, with API automation. And I hope to see most of you over there on tomorrow's session. Am I right? I'll be seeing most of you, right? You guys are a great audience. So feel free to be ask any queries. That's all for today's session. I hope you guys enjoyed. Take care, stay safe, stay home, guys. Good night. So good night, guys. Bye bye. You guys can drop now. Bye bye.